Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin demonstrates a strong upward trend, consistently reaching new highs. The RSI values, while fluctuating, generally remain below the overbought level of 80, indicating that the asset is not overvalued. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been trending above the middle band, confirming the bullish momentum. Given these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will initiate a long position at $85,200, coinciding with the support price and a potential bounce back point. To mitigate risk, we will set a stop loss at $84,000, slightly below the recent low. The target price for this trade will be $90,000, aligning with the forecast price and a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we can consider accumulating more positions at $84,400. Conversely, if the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, signaling potential overbought conditions, we can partially take profits at $88,800. This adaptive approach allows us to capitalize on short-term fluctuations while maintaining the overall bullish stance. The portfolio will be 60% long position at $85,200 with a stop loss at $84,000 and a target price of $90,000, and 40% accumulation strategy when RSI dips below 30 and partial profit when the price touches the upper Bollinger Band. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum shows a mixed trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The RSI consistently remains below the oversold level of 20, indicating that the asset is not significantly oversold. However, the Bollinger Bands show that the price has recently touched the lower band, suggesting a potential bounce. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. The entry price should be $1,480. A stop-loss order should be placed at $1,420, just below the lower Bollinger Band, to mitigate potential losses if the price continues to decline. The target price is set at $1,560, aligning with the recent resistance level. To refine the strategy, we can incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. When the RSI dips below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a potential buying opportunity. We can enter a long position at $1,510, with a stop loss at $1,470 and a target price of $1,580. This combined strategy leverages the confluence of technical indicators to increase the probability of a successful trade. This portfolio aims for a balance between risk mitigation and potential high returns, capitalizing on short-term price movements while safeguarding against significant losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP exhibits a slight upward trend. The RSI consistently remains below 80, indicating the asset is not overbought. However, it has dipped below 30 on April 8, signaling a potential oversold condition. Considering the forecast for the next week, with prices hovering around $2.07 to $2.10 and the Bollinger Band showing the price recently touching the lower band, a long position could be considered. I propose a strategy where we enter a long position at $2.04. The stop loss should be set slightly below the support level at $2.02 to protect against potential downside risks. The target price should be set at $2.16, near the resistance level, aiming to capitalize on the upward momentum. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI falls below 20, it signals an oversold condition, and when it rises above 80, it indicates an overbought state. The Bollinger Bands help identify potential price breakouts. A bounce from the lower Bollinger Band suggests a potential upward movement. Therefore, I suggest a portfolio combining the three strategies. Enter long at $2.04, set a stop loss at $2.02, and target $2.16. This combined strategy balances risk and reward, capitalizing on the current upward trend and potential oversold conditions while using the support and resistance levels to define entry, stop loss, and target prices. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows an overall upward trend, bouncing between a support of $553 and a resistance of $611. The RSI consistently remains below the oversold level of 20, fluctuating between 34.6 and 52.3, indicating a lack of strong selling pressure. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increasing volatility, with the price occasionally touching the lower band, signaling potential buying opportunities. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $583, placing a stop-loss order at $556 to protect against potential downside risks. The target price will be set at $607, aiming to capitalize on the anticipated upward movement indicated by the forecast data. To refine this strategy, we will integrate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the lower band, which is around $556, we will enter a long position. The stop-loss will be set just below the lower band at $552, and the target price will be the upper band, which is around $607. This combined strategy leverages both the RSI and Bollinger Bands for enhanced risk management and profit potential. The final portfolio will prioritize the combined strategy, allocating 80% of the capital to this approach and 20% to the RSI-based strategy for diversification. This approach aims to capture the upward momentum while mitigating potential losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana demonstrates a clear uptrend, consistently testing and breaking through the resistance level of $139. The RSI values have been fluctuating but generally trending upwards, indicating strengthening momentum. Currently, the RSI is around 56.1, suggesting we are not yet in overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is approaching the upper band, which could signal a potential pullback. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $132. To manage risk, set a stop-loss at $135, just below the support level. For the target price, aim for $141, aligning with the forecast price and the upper Bollinger Band. To refine the strategy, I propose a combined approach using RSI and Bollinger Bands. Initially, enter a long position at $132. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band of $137, move the stop-loss to the center of the Bollinger Band, which is $123, and increase the target price to $141. Conversely, if the RSI drops below 33.2, indicating an oversold condition, consider exiting the position or tightening the stop-loss to $135. This dynamic strategy aims to capitalize on the ongoing uptrend while mitigating potential losses through careful risk management. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows a slightly upward trend with some volatility. The RSI consistently remains below 50, indicating that the asset is generally in an oversold condition. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been fluctuating within a range, recently approaching the lower band. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy focusing on capitalizing on short-term price bounces. We will initiate a long position at $0.152, coinciding with the first day of the forecast period and a relatively low RSI of 32.8. A stop-loss will be placed at $0.149, just below the lower Bollinger Band to mitigate potential losses if the downward trend continues. The initial target price will be $0.161, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and a reasonable price increase. If the price reaches this target, we can consider adjusting the stop-loss to break even to protect profits and potentially ride further upward momentum. If the price fails to reach the target, we will exit the position at the stop-loss level. This strategy balances risk and reward, taking advantage of the oversold conditions while incorporating technical indicators to guide entry, stop-loss, and target price decisions. This is a high-risk, high-reward strategy, suitable for experienced traders. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a slight upward trend. The RSI values have been fluctuating between 47.6 and 66.6, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been relatively stable, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. Entry price should be $0.246, with a stop-loss set at $0.236, just below the recent low of the Bollinger Bands. The initial target price should be $0.255, aligning with the recent resistance level and the upper Bollinger Band. To refine the strategy, I propose incorporating RSI signals. If the RSI falls below 20, consider adding to the position at $0.231, with a stop loss at $0.229. If the RSI reaches 80, consider taking partial profits at $0.25. The forecast data suggests a price range between $0.246 and $0.25, supporting the potential for further gains. This combined approach leverages both Bollinger Bands and RSI to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano shows a slight upward trend with price fluctuations. The RSI consistently stays below 50, indicating a generally weak buying momentum, but not deeply oversold. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a period of consolidation. Considering the support price of $0.611 and the forecast for the next week, I recommend a long position strategy focused on capitalizing on potential upward movements. The entry price will be $0.597 on April 22, 2025, coinciding with the forecast price and a potential bounce from a slightly lower level. The stop loss will be set at $0.587, just below the forecast low, to limit potential losses. The initial target price is $0.63, aiming to capture a reasonable profit while respecting the resistance level. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI rises above 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a potential buying opportunity. We will adjust the target price to $0.64 if the price breaks above the resistance level. Furthermore, if the RSI approaches 70 while the price is near the upper Bollinger Band, consider taking profits and potentially re-entering on a pullback. This dynamic approach, combining trend analysis, support/resistance levels, and technical indicators, will allow us to adapt to changing market conditions and maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows a slight upward trend, consolidating between the support of $12.9 and a resistance of $13.3. The RSI indicator fluctuates, spending time both in oversold and overbought territories, suggesting potential volatility. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of contraction and expansion, which could signal upcoming price movements. Given the current RSI of 50.3 on April 21, 2025, and the forecast prices hovering around $12.5 to $12.9, I propose a moderately bullish strategy. I recommend entering a long position at $12.3 on April 22, 2025. Place a stop-loss order at $12.9 to limit potential losses if the price declines. Set a target price of $13.3, aligning with the resistance level. The RSI is currently approaching the oversold level, suggesting a potential bounce. Furthermore, if the price stays above the upper Bollinger Band, it is a good opportunity to take profit. This strategy combines trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Band dynamics for a balanced approach, aiming for a reasonable return with controlled risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Avalanche shows an overall upward trend with recent consolidation. The RSI fluctuates between 36.4 and 55.7, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility. The forecast for the next week predicts a continuation of the upward trend, with prices ranging from $19.3 to $20.2. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $19.3, placing a stop-loss order at $17.9, which is the support level. The initial target price will be $20.5, based on the recent high and the forecast price. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider entering a long position. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, suggesting an overbought condition, we might consider taking profits or initiating a short position. If the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it could signal a potential buying opportunity. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, it might indicate a potential selling opportunity. Therefore, the final portfolio will be a long position at $19.3 with a stop loss at $17.9 and a target price of $20.5, adjusting based on RSI and Bollinger Band signals for enhanced risk management and potential profit maximization. Based on the historical data and forecast, Berachain demonstrates a downtrend, particularly evident in the recent forecast prices. The RSI consistently remains below 35, indicating an oversold condition. The Bollinger Bands show a contracting range, suggesting increasing volatility and potential for a significant price move. Given this analysis, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position when the RSI crosses above 20, targeting a price increase towards the resistance level of $3.66. The entry price should be $2.61, with a stop loss set at $2.58 to mitigate potential losses. Our target price is $3.66, aiming for a substantial profit. To refine the strategy, we'll incorporate Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the lower band of $2.61, it signals a potential buying opportunity. We will enter a long position at $2.61, setting a stop loss at $2.58. The target price will be $3.66, based on the resistance level. This combined RSI and Bollinger Bands approach balances risk and reward, capitalizing on the anticipated volatility while confirming the oversold condition with the RSI. This portfolio should yield high returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, Raydium shows an overall upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential price movements. Considering these factors, a combined strategy utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands is recommended. The entry price will be $2.13 when the RSI is below 50 and the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. The stop loss will be set at $2.08 to protect against potential downturns. The initial target price will be $2.28, aligning with the previous resistance level. To optimize returns, a second strategy will be implemented when the RSI reaches 70 and the price touches the top of the Bollinger Bands. The entry price will be $2.19. The stop loss will be $2.13. The target price will be $2.33. This layered approach allows for capitalizing on both upward and downward price movements. This portfolio combines the strengths of both strategies, providing a balanced and potentially high-return investment approach for Raydium. Based on the historical data and forecast, Pendle exhibits a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating between the support of $2.64 and the resistance of $3.46. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently within a neutral range, with values generally between 52 and 62. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been oscillating within the bands, suggesting moderate volatility. Considering the forecast, the price is expected to increase slightly, reaching $3.39 by April 28, 2025. Therefore, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $3.2. The stop loss should be placed at $3.11, just below the recent low, to limit potential losses. A target price of $3.39, aligning with the forecast high, is set to secure profits. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 20, oversold, and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a potential buying opportunity. Conversely, if the RSI rises above 80, overbought, and the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, it suggests a potential selling opportunity. For this scenario, we will stick to the initial long position strategy. The portfolio will consist of 100% long position in Pendle with an entry price of $3.2, a stop loss at $3.11, and a target price of $3.39. This approach balances risk and reward, capitalizing on the anticipated upward trend while protecting against unexpected downturns. Based on the historical data and forecast, SUI shows a slightly upward trend, but the RSI consistently stays below 80, indicating that it is not in an overbought condition. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the lower band, signaling potential oversold conditions. Given the recent RSI values hovering around the 40s, and the forecast predicting prices around 2.19 to 2.22, I propose a strategy focused on capitalizing on short-term dips. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the support level of $2.05. The stop loss will be set just below the support at $2.03 to mitigate potential losses if the price breaks down. The target price will be $2.22, aiming to capture a reasonable profit within the current trading range. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price approaches the lower band, around $1.93, while the RSI is below 30, this would be a stronger signal for a long entry. In this case, we would enter at $1.93, place a stop loss at $1.91, and set a target price of $2.22. This combined approach, using both RSI and Bollinger Bands, will enhance the probability of successful trades. This portfolio is efficient as it combines RSI and Bollinger Bands to create a more robust strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, POL-X-Matic has shown a slight upward trend recently, although it has been fluctuating within a range. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently in an oversold condition, with values consistently below 50 and dipping below 20 in the initial days. The Bollinger Bands suggest that the price is nearing the lower band, indicating potential for a bounce. Considering these factors, I propose a moderately aggressive strategy focusing on capitalizing on potential short-term gains. My recommended strategy is to enter a long position at $0.178. Given the oversold RSI and proximity to the lower Bollinger Band, a stop loss should be placed slightly below the recent low at $0.169 to protect against further downside risk. The initial target price should be set at $0.195, aligning with the forecast price and the support level. If the price reaches $0.195, we can reassess the situation and potentially extend the target to $0.199, considering the recent upward momentum. This strategy combines RSI and Bollinger Band signals to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Kaia shows a slight upward trend. The RSI consistently remains below 80, indicating that the asset is not currently overbought. However, the RSI has been fluctuating between 34 and 54, suggesting periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands indicate that the price is currently near the middle band, with the lower band providing support around $0.0949 and the upper band acting as resistance around $0.109. Considering the forecast, which predicts a price increase to $0.108, a strategy focusing on capitalizing on the upward momentum while mitigating risk is advisable. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy with an entry price of $0.102. Given the support price of $0.106, we will set a stop-loss order at $0.105 to limit potential losses. The target price will be set at $0.108, aligning with the forecast and allowing for a reasonable profit. This strategy combines the upward trend, RSI readings, and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. The RSI is currently at 44.9, which is not oversold, so we will wait for a dip before entering the market. Based on the historical data and forecast, Decentraland shows a clear upward trend. The price has consistently been moving higher, breaking through resistance levels. The RSI values are generally increasing, indicating strengthening momentum, though we've seen periods where it dips below 50. The Bollinger Bands are widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Given the forecast predicting prices above $0.3, I propose a bullish strategy focusing on capitalizing on this momentum. My recommended strategy is a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands. Firstly, enter a long position at $0.284. The stop loss should be set just below the support level at $0.276 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price is $0.307, aligning with the forecast high for the week. If the price reaches $0.307, consider moving the stop loss to break even to protect profits. A secondary target price is $0.32, based on the final forecast price. This combined strategy leverages both technical indicators to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, AMP exhibits a slight upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently hovers around the 40 to 55 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the recent dip in price, coupled with an RSI below 50, suggests a potential entry point for a long position. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is currently near the middle band, indicating a period of low volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.00358. To mitigate risk, set a stop loss at $0.00348, just below the support price of $0.0035. For the target price, I aim for $0.00395, the resistance level. To optimize returns, I will combine the RSI and Bollinger Band strategies. The primary strategy is the long position at $0.00358 with a stop loss at $0.00348 and a target of $0.00395. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, which is currently around $0.00388, it signals strong upward momentum, and I will adjust the target price to $0.004. Conversely, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, around $0.00325, it suggests increased volatility and potential for a downward correction, reinforcing the stop-loss level. This combined strategy aims to capitalize on the current upward trend while incorporating dynamic adjustments based on volatility signals. Based on the historical data and forecast, STAG shows a generally upward trend, though with some volatility. The RSI consistently fluctuates, but recent values are approaching overbought territory, suggesting a potential pullback is possible. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of increased volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I propose a strategy focusing on short-term gains with a moderately conservative approach. My recommended strategy is to initiate a long position at $0.622, coinciding with the first forecast price and a point near the center of the Bollinger Bands. Place a stop-loss order at $0.577, just below the recent low and the lower Bollinger Band, to limit potential losses. Set a target price at $0.699, aligning with the highest forecast price. This strategy combines the momentum indicated by the upward trend with the volatility suggested by the Bollinger Bands and RSI. If the price reaches the target, consider taking profits and reevaluating the market conditions before deciding on further action. This approach aims to capitalize on the anticipated upward movement while mitigating risk through a well-defined stop-loss. Based on the historical data and forecast, reserve rights exhibits an overall upward trend. The RSI fluctuating between 48.6 and 62.1 indicates that the asset is neither significantly overbought nor oversold, suggesting a balanced market condition. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been oscillating within the bands, with the forecast predicting the price to move towards the upper band. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy. Entry price will be $0.00758, placing the stop loss at the support level of $0.0078 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be $0.00847, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and the forecast price. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI drops below 20, indicating an oversold condition, a long position can be initiated at $0.00758 with a stop loss at $0.0078. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, signaling an overbought scenario, consider closing the position or taking profits. The target price will be adjusted based on Bollinger Band's expansion. If the price breaks above the upper band, the target price can be raised to $0.00847. This dynamic approach, combining trend analysis, RSI, and Bollinger Bands, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively.